My friend keeps saying I'm straight after I came out to him. For some context, we've been friends for more than 6 years, our friendship only grew stronger each year, but I feel like my coming out has damaged our friendship really bad. For further context, he came out to me as gay a few years ago, and not long after that I came out to him as bisexual because that's what felt right at the time. He did invalidate my coming out by saying it's a phase. He was kinda right, but not in the way he thought. I come from a very religious background. Marrying a man was something that should have always been in my mind and future plans, but relationships and marriage really scared me for some reason. After learned about compulsory heterosexuality, I felt so seen and understood. I realized that I'm not interested in men at all, since I'm not forced to be in a relationship with one. It felt like a burden was lifted off my shoulders after I realized that I'm not forced to do anything I don't want to. For the first time I started to imagine myself with a woman, and everything felt so different. Instead of being scared, I was feeling excited and hopeful to maybe get to experience that. So after some time I told my friend that I think that I'm not interested at all in dating men. After I told him this, he kept questioning my sexuality. He acts really condescending about this, like he knows me better than I know myself. He said that because I haven't dated anyone yet, he will consider me straight. Well, I wasn't really interested in dating men, like at all, and when I discovered that I like women, I haven't really gotten the chance to date, but I really want to. I told him that I'm not completely against the idea of dating men, that I'm still exploring my sexuality, but he keeps bringing up the subject that I'm probably straight and it's just a phase. I told him that I'm not physically attracted to men, I've never been. All my crushes were out of convenience and because I thought I should like the boy that confessed to me, but in the end I just couldn't see myself with them, so they were just crushes. But he keeps saying that I'm just confused. It annoyed me in the beginning, but now I just ignore him. I don't know why he's doing this. I've never questioned his coming out. I listened to all of his dating problems and supported him in everything. It makes me really mad that he keeps invalidating my experiences when I never done that to him. Recently he made some hints that he might be bi, but I haven't pressed him to tell me more. I felt like he would tell me if he wants to. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. But a while ago I told him that I thought I had a crush on him because everyone told me we were too friendly with each other, but I couldn't see myself with him. I might be self-centered here, but maybe it makes him mad that I can't be attracted to him or any men. I don't know why he is doing this. I tried to talk with him about it, but he dodges the subject or flat out ignores it or denies it. I don't know what to do. This is messing up our friendship. I really care about him, but he's making me feel really shitty about coming out to him. I really regret telling him. He's really mean with me recently, and when I mention it to him he says that I've become too sensitive. What should I do so I make it clear that he makes me feel bad? How should I bring this up to him again? Every time I bring up something that bothers me, he ends up either saying that I'm too anxious or that I'm making stuff up and that I'm too sensitive nowadays. I don't want to lose this friendship, but I don't want to feel like shit every time we talk because I don't know how to bring up that he's being mean to me. How should I bring this subject up again without it leading into an argument? What's the most nice way to approach this? Edit: we usually talk via text. He's only like this while texting. When we talk on the phone he's more nice. And when we meet in person he's completely different. He's never mean, he only teases me in a friendly way. We always have a great time meeting up and he's always excited to spend time with me. I think he's even more excited than me, that's what others told me as well. Comment: seems like he may be into you and is trying to gaslight you into thinking you're straight and give him a chance. I actually thought about this. But when I brought up that I thought I had a crush on him, he immediately shut me down and he said, "You know I'm gay, right?" But he used this against me though. He said that all the girls that liked him had a bi phase. This was actually his reasoning on invalidating me on my coming out. I really don't think he likes me that way. Next story 2. My husband won't talk to me. First time post, So sorry for any mistakes. I and husband got married in March after being in a LD relationship for 4 years. Every time we get into an argument or fight, he would completely ignore me and not talk to me for days. And say he is reconsidering the relationship. Now we are married and I moved into his home. We got into a fight about finances and I'm really not sure if I'm in the wrong. To give context, I have my own house in my hometown which I'm renting out and it's paying for itself. While I lived by myself, I could afford to send $1,000 to support my parents every month after all expenses and save $1,000. My husband owns a house and a car and that eats up most of his income. After moving in, we equally share the mortgage and maintenance of his house/car. Prenup states I don't get a part of it if we separate. And we are netting negative every month without unnecessary spending or support money to parents. I've been feeling pretty down about it because it heavily restricts us financially. This month we netted about $300 positive and I spent $100 on silver jewelry that I've been wanting for months, out of my personal savings account. I have good amount of savings, about $100K, so I wasn't worried about that. It's the one thing I did for myself in past 6 months. He was angry about that and showed his disappointment. I told him I didn't spend anything for myself in so long and I wanted to do this one thing for myself. If we don't like what we buy, I can return it. He said I shouldn't be spending on wants while our needs itself take up most of the earnings. I agreed with him, but he is starting pilot training next month, $20K expense, as it's his dream, unrelated to his career, and I pointed out that's also a want, not a need. It's not fair for him to make me feel like I couldn't do anything for myself. He got mad, shouted at me, went and locked the room. He hasn't spoken to me in 2 days. I wasn't rude and I told him I'm not trying to diminish his dreams, but it's a want and not a need. Was I wrong? TLDR, husband won't talk to me after I told him his pilot training expense of $20K is a want and not a need when he shouted at me for spending $100 on silver jewelry. Edit, the $20K spending is coming from his savings and we did discuss it beforehand. I was okay with him exploring the option now rather than when we have kids and more needs. After speaking with him yesterday, he says it's not about the $100, but it's my attitude when I compared a stupid $100 purchase to his dream. It escalated yesterday and it ended up in a shouting match. I hate that I'm triggered by this. I am thinking of going back to my home country, where I will have a stable job and an emotional support system with family and friends. I have none here. And think about what I really want and get out of this relationship. Thank you everyone for your kind words and suggestions. I feel validated, thank you. Comment. Why did you sign a prenup in which you help pay for a mortgage but don't benefit from the equity? So you help him pay off his mortgage, you separate, and you get nothing? Where is the $2,000 monthly excess you used to have? You weren't wrong to use your savings to make a purchase for yourself. I feel like there are financial shenanigans going on here by your husband and I'd want answers immediately. You need to sort your husband down and make some very serious points to continue this marriage. It doesn't really matter what your argument was about and who is right. The fact that you can't talk about a problem like two adults is a huge problem that will slowly erode the relationship. I cannot take the silence treatment. He knows I don't like going to bed with unresolved issues, but he refuses to talk to me. He did the same before marriage, but you ignored it, and here you are. What's the math of your share of the mortgage? What's the agreement around it? At the face of it, it seems he has the advantage of it financially. But I see the emotional standoff to be the bigger problem. He can find fault with your spending, but you can't? And his reaction to that is to close you off from any discussion? You should see what part of all this you can unravel/undo. E.g., the finances. You both should retain your earnings in separate accounts, and contribute to a household account for expenses. Whatever is left is yours to spend without the other weighing in. Yes, The mortgage is also an expense, but it should be treated separately. You shouldn't pay for repairs and upgrades. But first, you should find a couples counselor and book an appointment, and insist he join you. If he doesn't, tell him that's the minimum starting point, and go and stay elsewhere till you both agree on something. The counselor should be able to get you both to discuss both finances and marriage.